Oh,
I can't. You have to wait to see what's up, okay?
there's a short Good evening, and welcome to another live. It has been a while, and I am so glad to be back. This is actually an impromptu live, and I felt moved to bring this live today because it's a recurring theme that has been happening when it comes to stress. So before we move on, I am going to play a short video for our sponsor tonight. And today's live is brought to you by Happy Healthy You. All right. So tonight's live is super quick, and I do have a few guests, well, two to be exact, in the studio today. So this is my firstborn, Caden, and the secondborn is somewhere over there watching the phone. Nevertheless, the show must go on. So I just wanted to speak a little bit about stress and how stress can impact our lives and impact our health. So I wanted to first define what stress is And stress is defined as a consequence of. It's a consequence of something physical that's happening, something chemical happening in the body, hormonal, emotional, and also environmental. And when our bodies or when we are not able to adapt and cope with whatever stressful event is happening in the moment, then this is where it can impact our health. Bear in mind, health stress can be positive, it can be negative, or it can have no effect. So it's neutral. And not all stress is bad. We tend to think that stress is a terrible thing, and it's not always terrible. And I like to give the example of a divorce and marriage. So, for one individual, a marriage could be the most blissful event ever. And for somebody else, it could be the most terrible day ever. And vice versa, a divorce can be the most liberating thing that can happen to somebody. And for someone else, it can be very devastating. So it all depends on the individual and how they are able to cope and adapt with whatever situation is happening in the moment. Just a little housekeeping, which I forgot. I am streaming live on 3 platforms. So I'm streaming live on Facebook in the private community, Happy Healthy You, Body, Mind, Soul. I'm also streaming on YouTube, Happy Healthy You, Body, Mind, Soul. And I am streaming on LinkedIn as well to my LinkedIn profile, Dr. Saren P. King. And so I am happy to bring this news. If you are seeing me for the very first time, you've never seen me before, my name is Saren King, and I am a board certified medical doctor, a holistic life coach. I am a mom, I am an author, a speaker, name you, I have many hats. But what I want to be remembered for is someone who is genuine, who is authentic, and someone who is able to help you improve your health physically, mentally, and spiritually. So today I want to address about stress. Now, when I see my clients, a lot of the clients that I see, I don't know the exact figure, but I am going to pull a figure out of the hat that more than 50, probably 80, if I am being very generous, of the persons that I see has some sort of stress related event. Either it is stress related in the workplace or in the home life, social, personal life, you name it. There's some sort of stressful event that is the underlying cause of whatever is happening, whether it is stress headaches, whether it is stomach ulcers, stress ulcers, whether it's high blood pressure, whether it is binge eating, overeating. Most of the time, the underlying cause is something stressful. And so I wanted to speak about the impact that stress and how our level of adaptation to stress, rather, how it can negatively or positively impact our health. Now, I want to look at the positive parts first before I go to the negative parts, because the negative parts are more common. And I like to give the example of studying for a big exam. And you studied well, you are prepared, but you still have jitters in your stomach. You still have butterflies in your stomach. You still feel nervous, but you know that you're going to do well and you ace the test. Now, would be an example of a positive life stressor. And so, just to define or categorize what stressors are, I have categorized them into 4 broad categories of stressors in our life. So, we have our daily life stressors. So, this is the cooking, the cleaning, dealing with family, answering emails, going in traffic, what have you, things that we do in our daily lives. Then we have our life altering stressors. So this would be an addition or subtraction from the family, moving from one place to the other, starting a career, ending a career, moving from one country to the next. Those would be our life altering stressors. Then we have our catastrophic stressors. So these would be things like war and famine and civil unrest. Then we have our environmental stressors, anything that impacts the environment. So our water pollution, air pollution, sound pollution, anything that impacts the environment. But I want to really focus on two types of stressors: our daily life stressors and our life altering stressors, because these are the ones that will be most affecting most persons, will affecting most persons. And so I want to first, before I move on, introduce my first guest who is here to support me today on today's live, and I'll let him introduce himself. And then I'm going to ask him one question. Um, I'm going to ask him about stress. What can he do to deal with stress? So, first, introduce yourself to the audience. Go ahead. Your name. What's your name?
My name is Kaden Aron Somali King. I am 8 years old.
And we have my second guest here. What's your name, guest?
Yes.
What's your name?
Yes. No.
You tell me, what's your name?
Yes.
I should guess. So his name is Leo, and he's my second guest this evening.
King Humphrey.
Right. So let's talk a little bit about stress, Kaden. Have you heard the term stress before? What does it mean to you when you hear the term stress? What is stress? Have you heard it before? Because I'm going to speak to the audience about it. And if you're feeling stressed, what are some of the things you think you can do so that you don't feel so stressed anymore?
Well, there's a lot of different things that can help you with stress, but the number one thing that I would say is those the stress balls that you squeeze to relieve stress.
That's a good one. So there are a lot of different tools that you can use, and Kaden is recommending a stress ball. And I'm going to recommend something at the end of this live. And as I said before, it's a short live. We're not going very long this evening. This was a totally impromptu live, but I really want to address some of the impacts that stress can have on your health. So I'm going to speak, as I said, I'm going to speak about the positive impacts. So I gave the example of studying for an exam and then acing the exam. You feel those jitters, you feel the butterflies in your stomach, and that would be an example of a positive life stressors. And what this positive stressor does, it really pushes you and motivates you to do better, to study hard, to really ace that exam. And so it's not always a terrible thing to have some sort of stressor in your life, because it can help you to grow and help you to expand and help you to dig deeper and try harder. And we can see this in different aspects in our life. And then we can also see some negative stressors or negative impacts of stress in our life. And so I want to address just a few, some of the physical things that can happen in your body. And I alluded to a few earlier on. So I spoke about stress headaches. That's one of the things that I see a lot is persons who are not coping well with some sort of stressful event. They are not adapting well to whatever the stressful event that's happening in their life. And so they get these headaches, and we call them either tension headaches or stress headaches. And we can use some of the techniques, like what Kaden mentioned, using a stress ball. Exercise is really good to help to alleviate tension headaches, staying hydrated, going for a walk, journaling. And I do have a journal that I want to speak to you about at the end. So make sure you stay tuned for that. And I mentioned as well stress ulcers. One of the systems in our body that is affected when we are not coping well with stress is our digestive system and also our immune system. So we tend to either binge eat, overeat, undereat, not eat well, stress eat. We're emotional eaters. We all are. And sometimes that can affect our digestive system and how we digest food in our body. And that can negatively affect our digestive system. It can also affect our immune system. And our immune system is that system that helps our bodies to fight off infections. And if our immune system is compromised because of something stressful happening, then it means that we are more prone to getting ill. We get ill very quickly because our immune system is compromised. And another thing that can impact our health negatively when we are not coping well with stress is our blood pressure. Our blood pressure can be affected. And the dangerous thing with high blood pressure, having elevated blood pressure for a prolonged period of time, is that it can affect different organs in our body. And the dangerous thing about blood pressure or high blood pressure is that it's called a silent killer because there are little to no symptoms that are associated with high blood pressure. So our blood pressure can be sky high and we have no idea unless something happens, we faint, or we happen to go to the doctor and they check our blood pressure. So it's always a good idea to check your blood pressure regularly so that you can know if it is high or low. I also want to speak a bit about our mood. uh, People tend to say that women are more emotional, which is true. We have a lot of hormones that fluctuate depending on what's happening in the time. And if we are going through a stressful event and we're not coping well with this stressful event, it can cause our mood to fluctuate. Good evening, Jacqueline. I see you tuning in from on YouTube. Thank you for joining. And so if we do not um, manage our stressful event very well, it will affect our mood. One of the things that is tend to be underlooked as something that can help us with stress is exercise. Now, when we exercise, it's not just about getting abs and about getting toned arms and losing weight, but it also helps with our mood. So when we work up a sweat and our heart rates is increased, our bodies produce and secrete what we call happy hormones. And these happy hormones include adrenaline, serotonin, oxytocin, and dopamine. And these hormones, which are naturally produced in our bodies, help to lift our moods and help us to feel happier and help us to feel more jolly. So if you're feeling stressed out at any point in time, what's some of the exercises you can do, Kaden?
Squats,
You can do squats,
jumping jacks,
jumping jacks, which is one of his favorite, and not just regular
push-ups,
push-ups. And you can do other types of
sumo squats,
exercise, sumo squats,
different types of
sports. What sort of sports that you can engage in?
football,
Football,
basketball,
basketball,
tennis,
tennis,
yeah,
swimming,
netball.
netball. So the whole point is to get your body moving. It could be something as simple as just taking a walk around the block to get your heart rate up just a little bit, just enough so that your body can secrete these happy hormones. And that is something that is tend to be on the look. The importance of exercise. It affects not just positively affects our physical health, getting our blood pressure down. Uh, Turn it down, baby. Getting our blood pressure down and getting our bodies at an ideal weight, but it also helps to positively impact our mental health by secreting these happy hormones that I mentioned. Now, I don't want this live to be terribly long, and so I'm going to start to wrap it up. But the big announcement that I want to make is turn it down, it's too loud. Turn it down.
Mommy,
Yes. The
we can,
Go ahead.
we can talk about more of the things that we did talk about on the first live when I was here before Leo was born.
All right. So Kaden joined me in a live 3 years ago, and we spoke about emotions. We spoke about the importance of keeping our bodies healthy, eating healthy foods, the types of exercises, and we already mentioned about the types of exercises. Now we can mention about some of the healthy foods that we can eat in order to keep our bodies healthy. So what are some of the foods that we can eat to keep our bodies healthy?
Fruits or vegetables?
Fruits and vegetables. So you can name what type of
Strawberry,
fruits.
mango, pear, apricot, uh,
Vegetables.
banana,
Mhm.
carrot, broccoli, spinach,
And the list can go on and on and on. So it's really important to really get our
cassava.
fruits and vegetables like cassava in our daily diet to keep our bodies as healthy as possible, to improve our immune system, to keep our bodies um, fighting, be able to fight off any infection. Turn it down. Right? And so I want to introduce to you a workbook that can help you to first it's called evaluating your stressors. And so you can look at your own life and determine whether you are having something stressful going on in your life, and you will be able to see for yourself if something is happening. And for the next 24 hours, I will be having a store wide on my online shop, store wide discount, 25% discount, so that you can purchase anything on the store. But I'm going to drop in the comment section. I'm not sure if everybody will be able to see it, but I dropped the link for the Evaluating Your Stressors workbook, and you can take a look at that and download it to help you deal and cope and adapt better with stressful events in your life. So, if you are struggling with something, if you are having headaches all of the time and you're not sure what it is, and your blood pressure is fine, you're well hydrated, it could be something related, stress related, you can use that workbook to help you determine whether or not you are coping well or you're adapting well with something stressful happening in your life. So I hope this live was helpful to everyone. If you do have any questions, please you can drop it in the chat. If you need more information, or if you want to take advantage of the store-wide discount, you can go to the PayHip store and you can use the code FLASH25. Oops. FLASH25 to get 25% off any of the products on the online shop. All right, so this is going to be the end of the live. As usual, stay happy and stay healthy, and I'll see you in the next live. Bye.
Bye.